in mathematics. And I think that is the problem which we have with the embassies and everything. I'm not talking about the scientific attaché, but I think the attaché should come in there also to help us in the field of sciences. Thanks.
Thank you. Yes, please.
One suggestion, like this is an outstanding meeting where we are basically sharing the experience from our Indian science counselors. Now RIS can also consider inviting a similar meeting with all the foreign science counselors who are in Delhi, because it gives a completely different perspective and probably we can learn a lot from that. Well, you have been doing that. Okay, fine.
We ran one series.
Yeah. Okay, that. Okay,
Yeah,
fine. Sure.
I can inform you that we have been meeting one-on-one with science counselors of different countries.
Okay.
We started with Spain. The person has been here 7 years.
Mm.
He knows a lot about what's happening here. Japan, US. So one by one we are meeting them. We thought it's better one-on-one gives you a much deeper interaction.
Deeper interaction.
And less
Okay.
constrained by presence of others.
Okay. I'll take another one.
In fact, I may add, there are many countries like Japan who have come up with a science diplomacy policy about 8-9 years ago. We may be inviting such professionals who wrote their policy on science diplomacy and what has been their experience as part of a dedicated tutorial of a kind.
Okay. I'll just take 1 more minute. We are sharing a lot of experiences. Now, is it possible that this can be compiled in the form of a science counselor's operation manual? There would be a lot of confidential areas. I do not want that may be included. That can be given as a one-to-one discussion, which obviously they do during that 1 month period. But there are a lot of things which a new counselor can get in the form of a book kind of a thing. So you can think in that line.
I may add that
Yes.
yesterday in the RIS Governing Council meeting, the standard operating manual for science counselors would be presented in the heads of mission meeting, which is shortly to be lined up. And we are working on that structure to be presented by a slot of time.
Okay, thank you.
I can compare this with commercial representatives. Commercial representatives, many of our officers function as commercial representatives. We represent the Ministry of Commerce in their operations abroad. Ministry of Commerce used to issue a manual of instructions for commercial representatives. It was a fairly thick book. The International Trade Center, Geneva, took this up and they began to issue not only a handbook for commercial representatives of developing countries. And that book became also very useful and was made use of by many people. It's free of charge. They had a magazine called International Trade Forum, which actually helped commercial diplomats on various things, how to penetrate markets, all these things. So some similar activity in the area of science diplomacy might be, we might think of doing that. That's
Sir, very short, 1 minute, can I take? To say that science was not covered is not correct, because basically we are science counselors. And when I mentioned about superconducting super collider project, that is to do with quark, which is the smallest particle and is pure science, nothing to do with engineering or technology. Second thing, when you talk of calling foreign science counselors, I tell you, the loyalty will never be there. I tell you, I was offered the post of science counselor for High Commission of Britain in Delhi, written appointment letter. But before joining, I thought, can I deliver this? Because my loyalty will always be with India, and it will not be possible to, in a way, spy on Indian establishments and pass on the information. So that will be a very big conflict of interest to have foreign diplomats talk about good for India. It will never be there.
Jyoti.
And though I'm not a science counselor, so but whatever experience I have, and because since last 2 years I'm closely working on science policies, so like Dr. Sharma has mentioned about the VET program of Germany, so I would like to add on that whenever our counselor go to different countries, the information should pass on to each and every ministry, whether it is scientific or not. Because when I was working in Australia, I saw our Ministry of Human Resource have many programs which are directly or indirectly related to science and technology. For example, like our Ministry of Human Resource is working under our skill program on VET programs. They are trying to replicate the similar kind of programs in India to strengthen our young generation. And you will not believe the 90% of VET program are based on science, STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics only. If we are planning to replicate similar kind of programs in India, so there should be one bond in among the ministries. Because even I'm working in Department of Science and Technology, and I was not aware that such similar number of programs are going on which are directly related to science and technology. So every time our counselors should be introduced to Ministry of Human Resource, Ministry of National Skill Development programs, and also they can just link their programs with our programs, because ultimately we all are working for this country. And the second thing, there should be some basic training programs for our science counselor, because sometimes the counselors are from not funding agency, so they must be not aware about the different S&T programs running by Department Biotechnology, DSIR, DST, CSIR. So there should be one basic outline training among those programs. So whenever they will be in that country, they can just link their programs with our ongoing programs. And there should be some basic training on understanding of legal documents, because as a scientific person, even we are in working in international division, but sometimes it's really difficult to understand the language of the MOUs and other legal documents. So it must be good if we will provide them some basic training before their departure to that country. Otherwise, some of the time will go to understand these basic things. Thank you.